You know, sometimes the final score of a soccer match just doesn't tell the whole story. Actually, sometimes it tells a completely different story from what really happened out on the field. So today, we're going to become sports detectives. We are going to learn how to use the official match report to uncover the real narrative, the one that's hidden inside the numbers.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a perfect example. In a recent game, Norway beat Switzerland 2-1. Seems pretty simple, right? But then you look at this number. Switzerland had 17 attempts on goal, while Norway only had 8. That is more than double the chances. So how in the world did the team that created all those opportunities end up losing the game?
This right here, this is the central mystery we're going to solve. See, the score is just the headline. The stats, though, that's the real story. And if you can learn to read that story, you can truly understand the game. So where do we even begin?
We start right here with our official case file, the match report. I want you to think of it like it's a collection of all the evidence from the game. It's this standardized document that logs everything from goals to fouls to, well, all the little details. And it's our job to connect the dots.
All right, so first things first, we need to understand the evidence we're working with. Let's break down the anatomy of a match report and figure out what clues we should be looking for.
So what is a match report, officially? Well, it's a document that gives you a complete statistical summary and a play-by-play of all the key events in a game. It's designed to be this totally objective, factual account of everything that happened in those 90-plus minutes.
And inside this report, there are a few key data points that are, especially revealing. We're talking about possession percentage, that tells you who had the ball more, attempts on goal, which, as we've already seen, can be a little tricky, and then you've got fouls, corner kicks, and of course the big ones, disciplinary actions like yellow and red cards. Each one is a vital piece of the puzzle.
So let's jump back to our mystery game. The match report shows that Switzerland had 55% of the possession compared to Norway's 45%. This basically confirms what that attempts stat was hinting at. Switzerland was controlling the flow of the game. They just had the ball way more often.
I mean, it seems logical, doesn't it? The team that has the ball more should be the better team. But is that always true? Does possession automatically mean you're going to win?
Nope, not necessarily. Just take a look at this MLS game between Charlotte and Orlando. Orlando City had a jaw-dropping 67% of the possession. They absolutely dominated the ball. And the final score? A 2-2 draw. So here's the thing. Having the ball is one thing, but what you do with it, that's what really, really counts.
And this same idea applies to shot attempts. In this Gold Cup semifinal, for instance, Guatemala actually outshot the USA 20-12, but the USA won the game 2-1. This tells a story of pure efficiency. Yeah, the US might have had fewer chances, but they were way more clinical, way more deadly in front of goal, scoring twice from just 12 tries.
Okay, so stats give us the general pattern of a game, but soccer, it's a game of moments. Single, dramatic moments. A red card, a penalty, a controversial call from the ref. These are the plot twists in our story, and guess what? They're all documented right in the match report.
Check this out. It's a timeline from a game between Iceland and Finland. At the 52-minute mark, an Icelandic player gets a yellow card. Okay? But then, just 6 minutes later, she gets a second one. And a second yellow means a red card. Suddenly, Iceland is down to 10 players. And then what happens? Just 12 minutes after that red card, with Iceland totally disorganized and a player short, Finland scores the winning goal. It's a perfect cause and effect narrative written right there in the report. But the main characters in these dramas, they aren't always the players. In the modern game, one of the biggest protagonists, for better or worse, is technology. I'm talking about the video assistant referee, or VAR. And that brings us right back to our Switzerland versus Norway mystery. At the 72nd minute, we find the critical clue. Switzerland, who's trailing 2-1, gets awarded a penalty, a golden, once-in-a-game chance to tie it all up. But then, the VAR intervenes. It finds a tiny offside in the build-up play, and the penalty is canceled. That single decision, recorded right here, likely sealed Switzerland's fate no matter how dominant they were statistically. So,
We've looked at the stats, we've looked for the key moments, but there's one final, absolutely crucial layer to our detective work, and that's context. Because the stakes of the game completely change how we should be interpreting all this data.
Just look at these two matches. On one side, you have the USA versus Mexico in the Gold Cup final. A trophy is on the line, careers are at stake, every tool like VAR is being used. On the other side, you've got Everton versus Bournemouth in a preseason friendly. It's basically a practice match. A lopsided stat line in that final means everything. In the friendly, it might just mean one team is trying out a new formation. Context is king.
So, now that we have all the tools, let's put it all together. Let's deliver our final verdict on how to read the game like a true expert. Here it is, your detective toolkit. Step 1. Start with the final score, but immediately hunt for stats that contradict it. Step 2. Use possession, attempts, and corners to figure out who was really in control of the game. Step 3. Find those turning points, the red cards, the VAR reviews that totally flip the script. And Step 4. Always, and I mean always, consider the context. Is it a final or a friendly?
Let's apply this toolkit one last time to a game where the story and the stats is crystal clear. That USA versus Mexico final. Mexico won, and in this case, the numbers show you exactly why. They had 60% possession and more than double the attempts on goal. But this is the killer stat, the one that tells the whole story. Mexico had 12 corner kicks. The USA had 0. Think about what a corner kick actually means. It means you have sustained pressure deep inside your opponent's half. A count of 12-0 tells a story of absolute, complete dominance. There is no mystery here. The better team on the day won, period.
So the next time you see a surprising scoreline, don't just take the headline at face value. Dig into that match report, look for the clues, and find the real story. And it kind of makes you wonder, now that you know how to find the story hidden in the data, what other headlines are you ready to start looking past?